It's always been this way in racing. Whoever holds the most cards has the most influence and can get away with the most, can per se bend the rules even. And it sucks that there's a lot of conflicting interests when it comes to politics in racing, but it's true. As soon as you figure it out, better chances you have of success. So this video was supposed to be something different. I don't know if you've been following me. First of all, thank you. And second, you probably know that I'm pretty salty and my passion for racing has diminished, it seems, and just because of some of my experiences. I would say I'm a little rough around the edges, per se, maybe even a dull blade, especially when it comes to racing. So I thought, what better way to discover the passion for racing again would be to learn from the individuals that have the most of it. So I was going to shadow a 50 rider and a 65 rider and just see the passion through their eyes. So you'll have to wait a few days because there's something I noticed this weekend just about our youth and our future of the sport and who they're looking up to. And it has to do with politics. So let me just tell you a story and let's begin. He came over to me like I was getting out of everybody's way. He came in and just roosted the out of me. I'm like, dude, it's practice.
So
like, dude, it's only practice, dude. It's only practice, dude. You don't have to be a dick. So there's truth to the saying, the guys you run over on the way to the top are the same guys you run into on the way down. And I'm using one of Colorado's top prospects because he's got the best chance to make a run at making a living racing motorcycles. And I want to know if any of this, what I'm about to talk about, happens at your local sanction events or at your kid's football game, your son's basketball game. Just feel free to chime in at any time in the comments. All right, I promise I'm getting to my point. Respect is earned. It's not given. And especially some of the top pros here in Colorado have had factory rides before, have won works races, have finished top 10 in nationals. These are the riders that have paved the way, have shown what to do, what not to do to obtain a factory ride, and they should be shown some respect. I do understand that the images I'm showing you is Dash for Cash, and it's a one-on-one race, but this happened multiple times in even the motos. I didn't catch every incident on film because I was actually there for the little kids. But taking riders out for 8th place, then 7th place, and running into people at 5th place, there comes a point where it's too much. And I'm not mad at the rider in question. I'm more mad at the sanctioning body for the lack of repercussions to protect the riders. And before I sound super one-sided, let me just back up and tell you a story. Another story. So just sharing one of my stories that I really haven't told anybody my side, and now I'm doing it on a platform with YouTube. But it was 2015. I was on top of my game. I was basically winning everything that I entered, and I was doing a local race where I won Open Pro and 450 Pro. I won every moto. And I ended up getting protested for being a dirty rider. And on the last moto, I had 2nd place, 3rd place, and 4th place all dip out on the track, cut the track, and they each took turns getting in behind me, trying to take me out. It was probably one of the most dangerous races I've ever been to. So after the race, I go up to the officials and I go, "Hey guys, are you gonna do anything?" And they said, "Yeah, we're gonna do something. we're scared for your safety, Johnny. And I'm going, great, this is awesome. Like, yes, we need to do something because that's not okay. You can't have professionals that little kids and all these other riders look up to acting like fools on the track. And I end up getting called into a meeting, and unfortunately, some of the officials were sponsoring some of the pros that had a beef with me at the time, and I was the one that ended up getting docked. It cost me $600 because I got DQ'd, and nothing happened to any of the riders that were trying to take me out. Yes, I'm not gonna say I wasn't being somewhat aggressive. I didn't take anyone out, but yeah, I moved up into the front quickly. You know, I started second or third, and you know, I might have touched some bars. And I know what I'm saying in this video is rubbing is racing, but it gets to a certain level where it's unacceptable and it's gone too far. And with officials sponsoring riders and picking favorites, it enables riders to potentially get away with certain actions that they shouldn't. So the reason why I'm sharing that story is I was on one side of the fence and now I'm on a different side of the fence. Perhaps during that time, could the other pros unionize and sort of gang up on me for a good reason and get me docked? Because I know after that, I stopped racing local events. I said, screw this. I came here to make money, and now that I'm not making any money because you guys are DQing me, I'm moving on to somewhere else. I'm going to just save my money and go to the Nationals or the Arena Crosses or some GNCCs, whatever it may have been at the time. But looking back on it and trying not to be biased about it, potentially they could have had every right to do that. But at the time, I felt like I was being scrutinized for the wrong because I didn't think I was being a dirty rider. I thought the opposite should have happened. The other riders should have gotten DQ'd so that you can't cut the track and try to take out the guy that's winning the race at the time. But I'm using that as an example because I know I'm also using this individual who's a top tier rider here locally, which is honestly the hottest prospect to make a run at getting a factory ride here in Colorado. He's young, he's fast, he's got good support behind him, but there comes a certain point where does the sanctioning body let too much slide? Should they have potentially took this individual's winnings and made an example so that you don't continue this aggressive behavior? I get rubbing is racing. It's always going to be that way. You're always going to have a person that's on one side and another person on the other side, and especially they're going to clash when they don't agree. But if it keeps happening and it happens multiple times in a race where an individual takes a rider out in the back of the pack and then takes another rider out in the back of the pack and then takes another rider out, and that's all in one main event, well, I believe something should be done. And I'm not upset at the individual. He's just trying to race. Yes, do I wish that there's a little bit more respect there? I'm more upset about our sanctioning body for not doing anything. And perhaps maybe they've done some stuff. I've tried looking at the results, and I might have to do an updated video because I do know I'm entering a pile of worms. But I want to know what you guys think. Does this sort of stuff happen at your local events? Do some of the sanctions favor certain riders? I know some of the officials sponsor these individuals. If you're going to have officials judging and putting penalties on riders, well, they should have no interest in one rider versus the other rider. A sanctioning body is, for one, supposed to protect their riders. And if you start seeing aggressive behavior, yes, I've made some bad comments about FIM and AMA, but when there gets to be an abnormal amount of aggression on the track, they do something for the safety of the riders. They find the rider, they dock them, they make sure that they can't race again for a couple races. They have some sort of penalty, not just a warning. And what I ended up seeing was a lot of little kids and even their dads looking up to some of these riders and how they end up portraying themselves. And this is a very professional sport. I know from experience, you cannot make this dream a reality without some serious help. So it's better to not burn bridges, but to build bridges. And you have to hold yourself in a certain manner on and off the track. Not getting in fights off the track, not really getting in fights on the track either, because you want to attract the best sponsors you can. And we all know where I am right now. I'm making videos of other riders because my dreams didn't come true, and I want to try to help other riders obtain their dreams and be better than I ever was. I was making this video because I know it's a problem locally, even professionally. There's so many politics involved in racing. I wish it wasn't true, but the sooner you realize that and you start playing the game, the sooner you're going to get ahead in that game. So let me know in your guys' comments, your guys' experiences. Do you have anything like this happen where you live? Look out for that video about the little kids, because I did shadow a 50 rider and a 65 rider, and it was pretty cool seeing their smiles and just their enthusiasm towards racing. It was very refreshing. So until next time, this is Johnny Hopper. Thank you all. Subscribe, like, brah. I do want to say congratulations to Joseph. Check your inbox. You did win the goggles, my friend. I'm going to be shipping those off this week.